The year is 2018. Nations are divided, paranoia runs rampant, and as soon as you think you're safe, facts become subjective.
You are listening to Conspiracy Facts. Welcome to the Conspiracy Facts podcast. I'm your host and your teacher, if you will, bringing to light some of the hard-hitting facts of this generation. My name is Ty Turner, and I'm here with Dylan Van Zant, my good buddy.
Definitely, my buddy. It's a pleasure to be here on the podcast. I'm a big fan of it.
Me too. And you can give yourself more of a title other than buddy if you want.
See, I don't like to claim titles, but if I were to, I would just say I don't know, kind of conspiracy overlord.
Conspiracy overlord. Okay, good.
Yeah.
All right. So what we're all about here is conspiracy facts. You're going to wish this shit was theories, my dudes. This episode is all about the moon. I thought we would shoot for the stars and hit the moon.
That's That's actually kind of depressing because you didn't get anywhere near where you wanted to be.
Well,
like if you're shooting for the stars and you only get to the moon, that's kind of disappointing. That's like saying, like, man, I'd love to go to Sweden and you only get to like Tennessee.
Honestly, Dylan, that shows what you know about the actual moon. I guess I'm really going to blow your mind today.
Oh, my mind right off my neck because I want to know about the moon.
So first of all, those are words. We're just going to clarify that we are recording a Discord call and there is a little bit of lag. So if you hear our voices sounding kind of weird, this is our first podcast. We are kind of figuring things out, so just bear with it. But yeah, we'd just like to thank you for joining us on this journey of illuminating information exchanges.
Or should you say illuminating? Because lunar like the moon.
Holy shit, that was good.
Oh,
that's juicy, dude.
Ha.
Okay, so first off, let's just jump right into the news.
The news.
We got what's the first thing that everyone thinks of? The biggest conspiracy revolving the moon. That's what we're going to start off with. You know we had to do it to the moon is cheese. I wish this wasn't a fact, but this is.
Hey, this is a fact?
Yeah, this is conspiracy facts.
No way. See, I've always heard that the moon was cheese, but I didn't ever think that it was like a fact.
It was, and it remains to be. And as a vegan and someone who is lactose intolerant, I find this one very hard to stomach. I just came up with that. Thank you. Is the moon cheese? So according to Google, the first thing that came up when I Googled this, there was never an actual historical popular belief that the moon was made of cheese. It was mostly used to kind of highlight people being gullible, which I think you would have to be gullible to believe that it's not cheese. So
right.
Wake up, sheeple. Yeah.
Like on a dark starry night, just look out and look for the big orb.
Not only that, but you can smell the moon, and it has a very distinct cheddar waft over the ocean, which is why, there's like that distinct cheesy smell whenever you go to the beach.
I got you. That explains why, like, anytime that I've ever been to the beach, I've always had like intense cravings for like Kraft mac and cheese.
Oh, yeah.
So that's about the only food that I'll buy.
Yeah,
out and about.
And that's another thing that's kind of an issue is that these big companies like Kraft have a very strong hold on the cheese market because they can't afford to send astronauts up to mine the moon cheese rocks and bring them back down to put in our macaroni.
Yeah.
And there's really nothing that. Yes.
No, so I thought that whole thing was the way it is because of kind of like the international waters branches of legislation. I thought that space was not able to be captured by any country. Like, it was like a mutual agreement between all countries. That's why you can't like mine asteroids.
Well, see, the thing is, if it comes from space, yes. But the big cheese glob that we call the moon was actually created on Earth by the Earth government. Just as sort of like before people really wanted to eat cheese, it was kind of seen as very nasty. And so nobody wanted cheese a long time ago. Cheese, the only reason we eat it, so much today, is because it was largely marketed because they couldn't get rid of it. They didn't know what to do with all these extra parts. Everyone just wanted the milk. Once it sours, what do you do with it? You put it all in a big ball and you throw it into space. But now today, through clever marketing and things, we've taught the general population to love cheese, to even crave it. And now we're like, oh well, we really goofed because we put all of our good tasty old cow moss up into the sky. Let's go get it back. We're reclaiming what's ours.
Well, now here's the lore that I've heard behind that whole theory about the moon and how the moon came to be. I mean, this is probably some kind of mythology, so don't quote me on it. Your answer sounds right, but from what I've heard, the moon was actually a project thought of by a group of surfers out in SoCal, and what was happening is their waves weren't getting gnarly enough waves at all. So what they decided is they're like, guys, we need to find a way to get bigger waves, bigger tides, bigger everything. So what they did was, surfers are obviously poor people. They have to. I mean, a lot of them are dependent on.
I don't think we should be making any kind of generalizations about people's economic whereabouts just because of their hobbies, my dude.
Well, true. Well, I'm just getting to the point. Like, I mean, I feel like surfers and like government issued cheese, like from food pantries. I feel like that's kind of a fair parallel to draw.
Okay, that's interesting.
So what they did was would just save up months and months of supply of this government cheese, and they just kind of fashioned it into an orb. And then finally, they 4th of July came around. They taped a bunch of bottle rockets to it, and it got enough lift to get up to the sky. So now that's what's pulling the oceans all together.
And that young surfer's name, and that young surfer was Elon Musk.
Elon Musk, dude, the guy who invented Tesla
and SpaceX, and now he's putting cheese up in the sky all the time because he wants to surf bigger waves every single day.
Yeah, that guy is so smart.
That's interesting lore. I feel like that does have legs. Like, I think that is based in some sort of fact, but it's hard to say what's what, and that's why these are conspiracy facts because they're all true.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. These are. I'll keep the lore to myself because we do need to stick to the cold hard facts,
or even the lukewarm squishy facts, as we are talking about cheese. So that's right. That's our first conspiracy fact that we got going on there. Now for our next conspiracy theory, this one is a little bit less known about. I don't know if any of our listeners will know about this. It's kind of an obscure one, and this is the moon landings. So, as we've already discussed, the moon is a big ball of cheese, but back in the 50s or 60s or some shit like that, everyone wanted to get there and hang out because it was kind of just like this big pissing contest for different countries. Which is pretty cool. That's a pretty cool pissing contest to have. Unlike, it's a little cooler than what we're doing right now with the nuclear war and stuff. But
yeah, like we did just get out of World War II, where we all made just millions and millions of dollars and had all this excess manpower. So what else was there to do besides have a space race?
Yeah, exactly. And Space Race sounds like a very cool movie
or Atari game.
Yeah. Oh, hell yeah. Wait, is that real? Is that a fact?
I don't know. Fact checking. Yes, that is a fact.
Good. So, the moon landing. Some of the facts that we know about the fact that they didn't go there is that, first of all, the shadows don't line up. There's too many suns. This isn't the Andromeda Galaxy.
This isn't Tatooine.
Exactly. This isn't a different planet with more than one sun and solar system. So that just doesn't line up. And the scientists, they want to say, listen, it was bright, and there was a bright light here and a bright light there. It doesn't really matter. Well, we think it does matter because we want the facts, and that's what we're about. Right. So we know facts. If we brought a groundhog to the moon, and we said check for your shadow.
He'd say
which one?
Actually, I feel like just being factual here. If we are trying to, I feel like first off, Puxatawny Phil would have a hard time getting to the moon, and second off, I feel like even if he had the capabilities, he would have a very hard time telling us what he sees because there is no oxygen in space.
Well, we'd have him in a little spacesuit. What do you think? We're just going to throw him out there looking for shadows?
I mean, you never know. But even then, I still feel like he lacks the basic motor skills to communicate verbally.
You don't think he can move his jaw? Those motor skills?
I don't think that he can speak.
Oh, yeah. That could be true. Well,
I believe that is a fact.
Well, sometimes facts conflict, but I think you're right. That's probably why they didn't end up doing the groundhog test up there anyways. I should have thought about that.
Well, anymore.
So, yeah, okay. Well, you're telling me that they did try it, and then they found out that the groundhog couldn't actually talk.
Oh, absolutely. That's why they started sending humans up there. Okay. They realized humans could talk and figured they just... I don't want to ruin your facts, but that's really what the moon landing was.
Yeah, so they were just trying to find out how much longer it was going to be winter on the moon. No.
There's one giant leap for mankind. That's 6 more weeks or 8 more weeks.
That's what it was all about, man. It's kind of, you're looking back, it's like, all these countries were in a tivvy trying to get people up there. Kind of seems a little bit unnecessary.
Well, I mean, and if you think about it, put 2 and 2 together everywhere. That explains why we sent a dog up to space. That explains why we sent a monkey to space. That explains why, Russians went to space first, because it didn't work, because we couldn't understand what they were saying.
Mm-hmm.
We send them up there and be like, hey, how much longer till spring? And be like, and we'd be like, no, I need a number. How many more weeks?
Is that a number? Damn.
Yeah, are you speaking show me hands or something?
This podcast is so illuminating. I have learned so much already.
Illuminating.
I think you already made that joke.
Yeah, I did. Illuminating.
Urinating. So you want to know why it took me so long to start this podcast this morning after I already called you and said I'd be ready in about 20 minutes and it ended up being an hour and a half?
Yeah.
That is because this podcast is cursed, and that is a definite fact that I found out.
Dude.
So first off, I was getting in the shower post-gym, and I noticed a distinct itch on my butt. That is the gymnasium where I do jumping jacks and long legs. So
okay, so you said post-gymnasium, so did you go to this gym guy's house?
No.
Or his post office?
No.
You said post.
none of that. I put a post up, and then I posted a note on the post with a picture of Jim at the gym, and then I went home to take a shower, and I saw a tick on my butt, which was an issue because it was about 2-something in the morning. Luckily, my mom was awake, so I go in there, I knock on her door, and I'm naked, but I'm using a pair of underwear to cover myself. Yeah. Because the spot where the tick was, I couldn't wear underwear and have any kind of help with that. And I also couldn't reach it to get it off. So I go in there, I take her a pair of tweezers. I'm like, Mom, hey, I need your help. She's a little bit distracted, but she looks up at me. She sees that I'm naked and her eyes get really wide. She's like, oh my God, what's wrong? And I was like, you're not going to like it, but I got a tick on my butt. She's afraid of ticks. Not like a genuine fear, but more like, they give her the creepy crawlies. Yeah. But she does pull the tick off my butt for me, which was really nice. And then, I showered, proceeded as I would. And I come in here to start the podcast session and to call you. And I noticed that my headphones are all tore up and there's this black powder coming off of them. And so I'm like, oh, fuck, I can't podcast like this. It's getting everywhere. So I searched the house for any kind of duct tape or masking tape or electrical tape. There's no tape. But I do find Scotch tape. And so then I just kind of picture in your head me picking and tearing off lots of pieces of Scotch tape to tape up these headphones. And then, of course, I realize this is not the ideal kind of tape to use when you're recording sound because, if I do move too much, there is going to be some issues. Yeah. And then, of course, tragedy comes in threes. The final thing that happened was the microphone's on sort of a boom style stand. So my microphone's at one end, and then there's kind of a long pole that sticks off at the other end, and then kind of an anchor pole in the middle that touches the ground and holds it up. Well, I sat down, I got all ready, ticks off my ass, got the headphones taped up, I'm ready to go, and then I noticed my door is open. So I swing my microphone around because I got to get up to go close the door. And what happens? The other end swings right around and spills my nearly full Monster can all over my keyboard and desk.
Oh, no.
So I had to dry that up. So that's kind of where I was before getting on here and pushing record. So I was already in a very spooky mood. I think that the government is definitely putting some chemicals in here trying to get me from delivering these cold hard facts, but I am going to ball through it.
But do you think or do you know? Because we are about the fact.
Well, that's one thing is that I will have to get back to you on that because it does need further research. It's not a fact yet. Okay. But it is kind of a fact. So it is a fact, but it's not as much. It's not a developed fact.
Yeah. Okay. The statement that we'll use just to appease the theme of the podcast. Just for fact's sake. We could just go ahead and say that the government is present. That's just just so we're factual.
Oh yeah. I feel that.
The government is doing something. There we go.
Always. Except for recently, but there's usually something happening.
Yeah. The podcast is or was tampered with due to interference caused by I don't know how you could word that.
Man, I don't know either.
I'm trying to think of ways we can only keep the facts.
Outside forces. I'm bored of this. Let's talk.
Government may or may not be included.
Dude, it skipped out. What'd you say?
I said you said outside forces. I said may or may not include, or that may or may not include the government.
Yes. Okay, so the next problem with the let's reel it back. Sorry, man.
No.
the conspiracies about the moon. Let's get back to that. Dun dun dun.
Right.
There was a prop rock labeled on the moon in the photos of the quote unquote moon landing with the letter C on it, which, as you and I have already discussed, probably just stands for craft because they called it. But a lot of other people seem to believe that that means, you know, it was like, this is like a Hollywood thing that they. It's hard to say. I mean, it's hard to say. Were they actually on the moon, or were they just on a big cheese field?
Right. No. Okay. I have a question, real quick, Ty. What are the facts about this?
The facts here are both. So, some of this was shot on the moon, and some of this was on a soundstage of just cheese.
Okay.
And our next conspiracy fact is where this kind of will come into play a lot, and you're gonna really shit your pants, literally, because that's the fact. So get ready for that one.
Okay.
Be prepared. This is so more of just kind of the moon landing stuff. You know, it's the flag. Here we go. The flag was waving. There's no wind on the moon. So they say. That's a fact.
That is a fact. No, that I'll go ahead and rule this a fact.
No wind on the moon is a fact. But the American flag, when they stuck it down in that ooey gooey cheese, it was just waving around, flapping in the wind. So just like Betsy Ross is intended.
Right. Now, then one can go to argue, like, okay, well, how come if there is no air on the moon, then why is the American flag that we stuck now white? Is it because of all of the Tide Pods? Is it because of just is the American flag we planted, is it a chameleon trying to change to the same color as the moon?
That's so good. I didn't even know that the flag was white now. And if it is a chameleon, what does that tell us about chameleons' ability to breathe in space? Does that make chameleons aliens?
The government being full of lizard people,
right? Exactly. Wow. Well, here's the thing. We didn't say there was no air on the moon. We said there was no wind. So that is kind of a distinct difference there that we would not want to confuse, because our loyal listeners and conspiracy factoidists will hold us to that. They are astute.
Yeah, I can do that. No. Do we have any facts to support this?
Not yet. But I did just say it, so yes.
Sorry. I totally wasn't listening.
That's fine. So our next oh shit, I fucked up. Okay, here we go. Our next moon conspiracy is one that is super trippy and spooky. So, oh shit. Oh no, I didn't say theory. I just said conspiracy. Okay, cool. Our next conspiracy fact is that every single picture that and let me clarify, I believe this to some extent. I believe the first part of it, and the details are facts that I may or may not agree with. Every single picture that you've ever seen of the moon has been taken in black and white. There are no color photos that exist of the moon.
Okay.
And there is a lot of interesting stuff backing this one up. This one is actually like very cool, and I don't know enough about it to really dive deep. But basically, there are people who have sort of taken these NASA photos into Photoshop and like looked through the code or whatever the fuck that you do, and found that like there were color signatures that have been removed, and that this is basically all of these photos of the moon have been turned grayscale, and like it all dates back. There are no color photos taken of the moon from like a really close-up high-res camera. Like you can take a very distant photo, but like from the photos that we have of like the other side of the moon and all this stuff, none of it's in color. And so that kind of leaves the question, why? And, you know, what kind of color things are on there that they don't want us to see? And they say that like certain things in the image are enhanced or, you know, colorized to, like, if a photo of the moon has the American flag in it, then yeah, they're gonna show the color of the flag. But, you know, they're still removing details. All of these photos of the moon that you've ever seen have been doctored, and there's like people who really think that they have proof of that, and I find that super interesting. Now, where the facts really get hard hitting is where this guy on YouTube, and the video has since been deleted, but for a while there, he had really gone in there and just shown you what it was all about. He found dragons, he found mer people, he found humans and aliens and all sorts of other shit living up there. And those facts are pretty gnarly, if you ask me.
Yeah, no, those are some gnarly facts, if I were to say so myself, and I am saying so myself.
So one reason that I think they might not be taking photos of the moon in color is because, well, the moon is really big, and all that film to get all that moon on camera, I mean, that's going to be expensive.
Oh yeah, no, that's very true. You're definitely right there.
And NASA isn't like Elon Musk. They can't just sell a flamethrower and buy all this nice film to take pictures of the moon in color. They gotta rely on the government, and the government doesn't give a shit about NASA. All they care about is buying toenail clippers and shit for the military.
Exactly. And that's kind of where I feel like NASA may be a front organization. I don't feel like NASA is really the National Aeronautics and Space Association or whatever it stands for.
Wow.
I feel like NASA is more of a group of I think more of a brotherhood of people who are sworn in to protect the government at all costs.
And how
like the National Association of Space Aliens?
Oh my God.
And they run the government remotely. Now that is not necessarily a fact, but I do want to emphasize that is what is happening 100% for sure.
Yep, sounds like a conspiracy fact to me. And the letters line up.
The letters do line up, and there are only so many letters in the alphabet.
Oh shit. I think we should really develop that one.
Yeah, I'll play Connect 4 with all the letters and let you know what I figure out.
Please do. So we have another interesting theory. Okay, and this is kind of the one. Oh fuck. We have another interesting fact. And this is the one that really ties it all together here. Ty Turner's it, if you will. And this one is all kinds of fucked up and weird. I think you might have heard of this. I think we've all heard of this. This is that the moon is a hologram.
Okay. Hold on, let me get this straight.
The moon is a cheese hologram.
Now, okay, hold on. So what you're trying to tell me is that not only did the government arrange for this giant cheese ball to be built and sent into space,
right? Not
only did they then organize a landing on this giant cheese ball that they had to fake, but that the cheese ball that they originally made never even really existed.
Oh no, it did.
Oh,
here's the facts, Dylan. They mined all the cheese, so they didn't want to freak people out, they didn't want them to know it was cheese, which is why they kept it all black and white too, because it was starting to get moldy is the thing. The cheese moon was getting moldy. It was stinking. You think that space would be like one big refrigerator, but it wasn't. There's space mold. And then we were starting to grow aliens up there, and they were coming down here trying to run the government, forming groups called National Association of Space Aliens. And things got really fucking weird. So they were like, we got to nix this cheese shit in the ass. They mined it all, gave it to Kraft, but they needed a front. So they projected a cheese hologram into the sky, and they just kind of over a blank shell that they put up there, kind of like a big movie screen, and they have just a nice projector up on a satellite that goes around and you know, we still get tides because we got basically a big round what's it, like a drive-in movie theater kind of thing going on up there.
Right.
Yeah, so there's still that weight, and it's still rotating, and it looks like cheese, and they still kind of spray it every once in a while, and then it smells like cheese, but there's no cheese up there. It's a hologram.
Okay, so it's kind of like, the U.S. dollar. Like,
exactly.
We have all of this money out here, and there's no gold to back it up.
Yeah,
we're no longer on a gold standard.
I would say so.
Okay. Well, that is good to know. Those are some interesting facts right there. Because for as long as I've known, I've thought that it also explains why the moon looks a little bit like bones. It looks like it could be a skull. And I feel like they just kind of farmed all the cheese, mined all the cheese, whatever they do to get all the cheese off of the giant cheese ball, and only left only left the rotisserie chicken style bones that they have. The giant cheese ball. It was like a big old Pac-Man skeleton.
If you think of it, the Earth is just one big rotisserie chicken.
When you think about it,
because of the sun, and it moves in a circle.
All it does is just spins and spins. Fun fact, this is another fact, but I wouldn't quite call it a conspiracy fact.
Okay.
In 8th grade, I lost or I got 3rd place in the spelling bee because I misspelled the word rotisserie.
Wow.
Yeah.
I don't know how to spell rotisserie, so I wouldn't have won either, Dylan.
I think it's ROTISSQ.
And those are some conspiracy facts about the moon. Now, I would like to take just a moment to talk about where our listeners can get some more fun Conspiracy Facts podcast content, and that is over on the Patreon. If you click the link in the below section, the description, or search up Ty Turner on Patreon, you will see that there is a $10 reward tier called Podcast Something, and that is going to get you an extra episode of the Conspiracy Facts podcast, which will actually be a completely mystery, kind of pulling a name out of a hat theme. So it might not even be a conspiracy. It might just be anything, but it will be me and Dylan hosting, and it will be absolutely fun. You're also going to get other bonus content and, the chance to weigh in on some of our facts and upcoming episodes and stuff. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, you can go there. Oh, you will also get MP3 downloads of every single Conspiracy Facts episode. So you will own them forever if you have that tier. So with that being said, thank you to our sponsors, my Patreon. And now, kind of getting into the last leg of this podcast, we're taking it over to what we call the Every 80s Song Conspiracy. And this is something, it was an original conspiracy fact that was thought up by us on the momentous occasion of 420. And this is that every Billboard song of the 1980s, when played chronologically, tells the story of the Wizard of Oz. Isn't that right, Dylan?
That's 100% correct.
Those are the facts. So we're starting it off today with the song Call Me by Blondie. And what we're going to have to do is listen to this on our own for copyright purpose. So if you want to just pause this and listen to it and then come right back, and we're going to have a little conversation about that song. All right. Did you listen to the song? We did. And we are here to tell you about how it relates to the Wizard of Oz. Dylan, theories? Facts?
Okay, so you first gotta look at the Wizard of Oz. I mean, if you're gonna look at it chronologically, you gotta start from the beginning. I mean, am I right?
Yes.
So now what you're gonna think about is the most significant part about the very, very beginning of the Wizard of Oz is that what? It's in black and white.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this song...
Sepia.
What?
Sepia tone.
Sepia, yeah. This song is not about any of the story, I don't feel like. I feel like this is pertaining more to the setting and the feel that it's trying to instill. This is like your opening ballad in a rock opera. This is like what you want. So that's why. Okay, so "Call Me" by Blondie. The first verse: "Color me your color, baby. Color me your car. Color me your color, darling. I know who you are. Come up off your color chart. I know where you're coming from."
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, this girl just wants to be colored. Same with Dorothy. That's all she wants is to be colored.
Yeah, very monotonous black and white sepia tone life. She wants the bright colors of Oz.
Exactly.
I see it.
And so I think that's where that this song kind of kicks that off.
I feel
and
that.
Then call me on the line.
If you'll allow me to interject, I think that the "Call Me" section of that might be in reference to at the beginning of The Wizard of Oz, which is where we have established that we're starting. I believe there is a moment where Dorothy's kind of fucking around, if for lack of better words, and Auntie Em is like, Dorothy, get your shit together. We live on a farm. We're trying to survive. You're rolling around with the pigs. And so Dorothy's like, call me. I'm on the line. I'm standing on this fence, and then I fall into the pig. Anytime, my love, day or night. And it's all about like whatever she's doing. She's always just kind of out there. She's doing some shit, and everyone needs to try to get her attention, bring her back down to earth.
Right. No, I agree with that. I feel like that's really where this is trying to get to. And I feel like, okay, so the next verse, it's more of a lovey-dovey type verse. Cover me with kisses, baby. Cover me with love. Roll me in designer sheets. I'll never get enough. Emotions come. I don't know why. Cover love's alibi. Now, this isn't really about love per se. Now, when you... Okay, so I'm going to fast forward a little bit into the movie. Taking for granted, we will have spoilers in this podcast because we will be talking about the movie Wizard of Oz. Mm-hmm. And since it's been out for 80 plus years, I figure people have seen it at least once if they're ever going to see it.
I should hope so.
Yeah. Well, okay. So whenever they get to actually finding the Great Wizard of Oz in close to the end, what does Dorothy ask for? Because the lion asks for courage, the Tin Man asks for a heart, the Scarecrow asks for a brain. Dorothy, what does she ask for? She doesn't ask for... All she really needs is love, and that's what she's really, really needing to get out of that whole trip. Is not that she needs to love somebody, but love everybody.
Huh.
That's why it's more of a superficial love rather than an individualistic love.
Huh.
Now, that's why the song lyric can kind of confuse it. Cover me with kisses, baby. That's actually, fun fact, deleted scene. Hershey's Kisses were going to be spread out all over the Yellow Brick Road.
Oh, really?
They did some filming with it. but Hershey's backed out last minute and instead sponsored the Willy Wonka movie.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then they also backed out of the Willy Wonka movie. And then Willy Wonka just had to become its own candy brand.
That's why it's called Willy Wonka, right?
And not Hershey's Kisses in the Chocolate Factory.
Yeah. Henry Hershey.
Henry Hershey in the Chocolate Factory. Wow. Well, I think Willy Wonka really worked out better. That's facts about the very first song on the billboards of 1980 relating to the Wizard of Oz, and I think that's definite facts. If you want to hear some weird news of the 1980, I have a little tidbit here.
Ooh.
So in March of 1980, multiple female students at Southern California universities complained that someone had mysteriously painted their toenails as they were studying in the library. Police dubbed the perpetrator as Leonardo de Toenail. A man was eventually apprehended carrying 15 bottles of fingernail polish, or toenail polish as it were in this case, but let go because police hadn't caught him in the act. Unable to stop himself, he was caught painting women's toenails again the following year, and this time was ordered to a hearing at the city's attorney office, but he never showed up, and he was not seen again. And that is more of a fact than any of the other facts we've talked about today, because this is a fact. This is a big boy fact.
Right. Right. That's one of those facts that you gotta see to believe, and I've seen it. I've been on the receiving end of unwanted toenail painting, and I know how easy it can be.
I'm not gonna lie, I've been both. I've painted and I've been painted, and neither of them leave you feeling very good about yourself.
No, not at all. Now the only thing about it is if it's polka dots, you have to feel good about yourself. I mean, who's gonna have bad polka dots?
I feel like if someone else is putting those polka dots on you, and it's not really your call, it still isn't that easy to handle.
But it could be a pleasant surprise, though.
I guess so. In some cases, yeah. I guess it depends on your mood. Whenever you go down, look down at your feet to see if they've been painted without your consent, and you see polka dots, you're going to be like, ah, shit, bamboozled again. But at least it's polka dots.
Yeah. I think that right there is probably why, I know that was 1980, but I'm sure that's probably why like those foot shoes were popular for so long, was to keep people from painting toenails.
I guess I don't know what you're talking. Were they shoes that looked like feet?
Yeah, they're like shoes that had the toes like basically it looked like I don't really know how to describe it. It was kind of like a croc, but the toes outline were like built into the shoe. So like,
I think I've owned a pair of those. They're like toe socks, but they're harder.
Yeah, exactly. But they're shoes.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah, that's probably why. Well, they made a really good bank off of that shit. So Leonardo
they did make a really good bank off of that.
Another fun thing that happened in the 1980 year is the Rubik's Cube debut.
Oh, really?
Yeah, internationally during January at a toy fair in London. So it was created in the 1970s. I mean, but went out into the world 1980.
Huh. Well, that's pretty interesting.
When I was in high school, I used to be able to solve a Rubik's Cube in under a minute.
Really?
That's probably the best thing I learned in high school, and I learned that on YouTube.
When I was in high school, I used to not own a Rubik's Cube ever because I would just get frustrated.
I feel that. I learned to solve a Rubik's Cube from a man named Dan Brown, Pogobat on YouTube. And through that, I found his videos, and he had a lot of really cool videos, like social commentary and stuff, a lot about like government stuff, but also just other really cool, interesting shit. And I followed him for years, And then in 2014, when my channel started taking off, I got an email from him asking to be a part of one of the conversations, because that's kind of what he would do. He'd do like bigger conversations with a lot of, people on YouTube. And I was like, holy shit. And I was on his channel. So it was a really amazing feeling there. That's kind of one of the biggest moments that I feel like really proud of with my YouTube journey, is that like I was watching this guy for years and then I got on his channel. And he was the one that contacted me. It was amazing. True facts.
Well, that's pretty fantastic,
Another 1980 fact is that CNN launched June 1st. Began broadcasting June 1st, 1980.
Huh. That's pretty interesting. I figured that CNN would have just been around forever.
Yeah, I know, right? But they started broadcasting facts in the 1980s.
Yeah, they got to keep those facts going, because the moment they quit doing facts, they just got to do it right. They got to do what they want.
They got to do it, bud. So I'm looking at some 1980s fashions, and honestly, it looks a lot like the shit we wear today. Just grainier photos of it,
More perms.
Yeah.
Let's see. I'm just searching. Okay, 1980 on Wikipedia. Roman numerals MCMLXXX. Ooh, that's sexy.
I like those.
1980 was a leap year starting on Tuesday of the Gregorian calendar, the 1980th year of the Common Era and Anno Domini designations, the 980th year of the second millennium, and the 80th year of the 20th century, and the first year of the 1980s decade. Okay. Let's see what else.
I think we have time for one more really solid 1980s fact, if you want to hit us with that. And then we're going to have to wrap it up for this week.
Okay. The year 1980 in the Byzantine calendar,
yes,
would be the years 7,488 to 7,489.
Shit. Byzantines, get it together.
Yeah.
How long do they live? A long time. A long ass time. Damn.
Oh, 1980. Bon Scott, the lead singer of AC/DC, died.
Oh, no. Well, this conspiracy fact podcast, episode 1, is going to be in honor of Bon Scott. Bon Scott Memorial Conspiracy Facts, Moon, and 1980s Blondie Call Me. Just trying to get all those buzzwords in there for the metadata so we get some good SEO in here.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dylan, for hosting
the
the Conspiracy Facts podcast with me. Thank you, listeners, for listening to it. Thank you, government, for also listening to it. And thank you to everyone who clicks over to Patreon for bonus podcast stuff. Dylan, you want to say any last words before I kill you?
Eat your vegetables and don't talk to strangers. And just be a stranger to anyone that you can think of.
That is quizzical. So that, just think on that one and get back to us next week on what that means. Bye, guys.